and welcome to my channel. Today I have another more colorful look for you because, I don't know, this time of year I just really feel like doing bright and colorful looks. So yeah, I'm just not much of a neutral, normal, nude color person. So yeah, this is what I came up with today, or actually this is what I came up with yesterday. Yesterday I was working as a makeup artist, so I didn't have time to actually film my own makeup then. But I did want to play with makeup in the morning because I'm always up early anyways. And yeah, so this is what I came up with using the NYX Air Palette. And then I looked into the mirror and I was like, I want to film this. So I decided to film it today. So yeah, pretty much this is a recreation of the look I did yesterday. It's actually very easy. I would still consider this wearable despite it being colorful. It's very blended, very smooth, no harsh lines. And there's no eyeliner or cut crease or anything difficult. It's actually a very easy look, and I think most people could probably, you know, pretty much easily do this. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So first off, I'm going to use a primer. I've already cleansed my skin. I've already applied a layer of moisturizer, a layer of sunscreen. And the primer I'm going to use is the High Adherance Silicone Primer by The Ordinary. It's a very nice primer. However, that's the old thing. The primer is lovely. But the foundation, unfortunately, just doesn't seem to work with my skin. It goes very weirdly patchy on me. I've tried it on other people and it works fine, but just on my skin it just doesn't work no matter what I put underneath it. Even if I don't put anything underneath it, it just doesn't work. But yeah, today I'm going to use the Catrice foundation, and that so far has played nice with literally anything I've put beneath it. In other news, I decided to make iced coffee by just simply putting coffee with coffee creamer in the freezer. And now I've literally got a block of frozen coffee, and I won't be able to actually drink my coffee until like an hour from now. But yeah, anyway, this time I'm going to prime my eyelids first because, well, I'm going for sort of a soft natural, not natural, but you know, a soft gentle look. And my eyelids don't need to like also have my eyebrows carved. Then just quickly fixing up my eyebrows with the NYX Tame Frame brow pomade. Pulled you up a little bit closer, and now we're going to do the eyes. I'm going to use the NYX Air Palette. As always, if you don't have this palette, you can always use something similar. First thing I'm doing, even though you probably can't tell, is actually applying a yellow eyeshadow almost up to my eyebrow. Yeah, the yellow isn't going to show at this point, but it will just give a hint of yellow, which we're going to use later. Then a peach shade, which I'm pretty much doing the same thing. But I'm keeping it just a tiny bit lower than I did with the yellow. Then I'm going to use a tinier brush, and well, if this is peach, then we're just going to call this apricot. Colors in this palette don't have names, they just have numbers that correspond with their place in the palette, so that's not very useful. But yeah, I'm just putting it in my crease on a tinier brush so it stays, you know, sort of beneath the edge of the color I used last. It's just going to make the entire thing visually a little bit more interesting, just because even only subconsciously you will see that there's like different colors in it, which will drag attention, which is something I always like about the look, you know, something that makes you look, you know, twice at it before you really see what you're actually looking at. Then even a step smaller and darker, I guess, with a very bright hot pink. And at this point I'm not worrying if anything will end up on my eyelid because, you know, like I said at the beginning, I want this to be a soft look, not necessarily a natural look with these colors. But just something, yeah, just fun, bright, yet casual enough to wear on a daily basis. At least for me it is. I wouldn't spend this much time on an everyday makeup honestly, but still. So yeah, it can just look soft and nice. Doesn't need to have crisp lines. Then really we're sort of work backwards. I've gone back to the apricot shade. And I'm using that on the fluffier tiny brush to sort of blend out the pink. And this way you also bring all the colors back, just in case you went over it a little bit too far with the other colors. And back to the peach. And then back to the pastel yellow, I'm really putting it below the brow almost as a highlighter. So we're done with the mattes for now, and I'm going to switch to shimmery shades with this little brush. It's a sort of flat, slightly stiff brush, synthetic fibers. And I'm going to dampen it a little to make the pigment in the shimmers pop up a little bit more. You could use setting spray for it. Today I'm just going to go for water. I tried it out for the first time yesterday with water and it worked remarkably well. But yeah, I'm going to use a very pale pinky shade first. I'm not going to do a cut crease with it, but I do want it to be, you know, specifically placed somewhere. About 1/3 onto the eyelid, I'm going to stop with this color and go onto a sort of bluish shade. I'm leaving a bit of a gap between those two shades because I'm going to apply a different shade later to blend. I'm pulling it almost to the outer corner. There's a transition shade between those two. I'm grabbing a sort of purple shade. Just applying this in between and just blending it both ways with the same brush. And then just using a pencil brush to fill in the outer corner with the sort of red apricot-ish shade. At this point you could add eyeliner, which will make it a whole different look. But me, I'm just going to keep it like sort of soft and neutral, not neutral, soft, and just going to go for heaps of mascara instead. One tip with this mascara is to not wiggle. You gotta push it against the lashes and then pull upwards. And that way it's absolutely beautiful and it will really make the lashes stand out, at least it does on me. If you wiggle it though, it's going to be horribly clumpy, so keep that in mind. So we're done with the eyes, so it's time for foundation. As often I guess I'm going to use the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. Now this foundation can very easily be full coverage, however for today I just want a natural, you know, just a nice coverage but not full coverage. So instead of my usual 2 pumps, I'm only keeping it at 1 single pump. I just said pumps, but actually the thing is a dripper, so I actually meant 1 squirt of the dripper. For concealer I'm also using my favorite by Catrice. And again, to really maintain that, like, you know, natural finish, I'm not going to highlight with concealer itself. But rather I'm going to highlight with the residue that's going to stay on the beauty blender, which you'll see later. Under eye area is done and now I'm just going over my highlight area with whatever's still left on the beauty blender. And then powder, I'm going to bake with my Peggy Sage powder. So while the powder is doing its thing, I'm just going to finish up my eyes. Starting off with this Beige color Biggie in a very soft pink shade. The under eye I'm going to keep very simple. I'm starting off with the hot pink shade. Putting it in the outer third of the lower lid. And then proceeding to blend it out with a fluffier brush and the peach shade. And then to really tie it all together, I'm also going to use the apricot shade. And sort of pull it inwards a little bit more, a little over the half of the eye. Then for my lower lashes, I'm also going to apply mascara. However, I'm going to use the Sexy Pulp by Yves Rocher for that in the old packaging. Because the Rimmel one, despite being beautiful on the top lashes, I think is a bit too much for the lower lash line. This is just a safer option. And blending out the powder, for that I'm always using a little bit more powder on my brush. Because I have oily skin, with dry skin you can probably get away with using less powder. Then just finishing up my eyebrows with the L'Oreal Brow Plumper. So for this look I really wanted a shimmery bronzer. I only actually have one, which is this one from the Essence The Glow Must Go On palette. I'm going to apply it with this sort of pointy brush by Maybelline, very soft. I'm applying it quite heavily. Because I'm not going to shape as well, I'm only going to use the bronzer and I really want that sun-kissed look. Around my nose I want a little bit of a contour, so I'm going to use the palest shade here. For blush I'm using Life's a Cherry by Essence. Then on to highlighter. This being a colorful look, I feel like I have a great excuse to use the Unicorn's Heart highlighter by I Heart Makeup. I prefer to apply this one before setting spray because this one is intense enough on its own. And I'm just going over all the colors in it to make it as bright and intense and colorful as possible. With a tinier brush I'm also putting it in my inner corners. Then just a quick setting spray. This one is by Catrice. For lips you could go a lot of different ways for this look. You could go for pink, you could go for peach, for nude, for purple, whatever you want. I couldn't choose, so I'm going to go for purple and pink, peach-ish. Both are by NYX. This is a Wicked Lippie. I'm not sure if they still sell this, but it's just an average shimmery purple. Very pigmented. And this one is a Turned Up lipstick by NYX in a sort of pinky peach shade. Which leaves us with the final results. Yeah, I actually really like how this look turned out. This is really just one of my favorite type of looks to do in spring and summer. It's quick, it's easy, it's bright and colorful, and you can just easily, you know, make it match your clothing or whatever colors you like the most. So basically, if you don't like these colors, you can easily do this with like turquoise and purple and green or blue or everything combined. You know, it's basically just a matte crease and a shimmery eyelid, and I think it's just, as long as everything is blended, most colors will actually play nice together. You can even do it in yellow, I suppose, yellow and orange. I think yellow, orange and red would still work on me. Me personally, I wouldn't be able to pull it off in yellow. But yeah, just do whatever works well for you. So yeah, I really hope you liked this look. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, please click the like button. It would really help me out. And if you want to, you can also subscribe to my channel. Below the video, as always, I'll put a full list of all the products I've put on my face today. And you can also find a full list of all my social media accounts and names down there. I'm mostly active on Instagram with makeup, unsurprisingly, but I'd really like it if you'd follow me there. Other than that, I hope you'll have a wonderful day. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!